guys? Welcome back to the show, the New and Experienced Investor Podcast. This is the podcast that brings real estate investors from all walks of life together. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Alex Barnett. I'm the new guy.
And I guess that makes me the experienced guy. My name is Joe Holmes.
Yeah, you should know that by now. We've hit 50 episodes.
Wow.
I know. I got an alert the other day.
Oh, that's news. I didn't hear that.
That's pretty cool. We got to come up with something on our 100th episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll think about that. We have a very special episode today. We have a super cool guest, like we always do. He is he's my partner in crime. While we're out here running this wholesaling game, we're going to talk about so many skills that you guys need to have if you're thinking about getting into wholesaling real estate, which it's never a better time than right now to be wholesaling.
I agree.
Thank you.
I agree.
But before we do that, let's talk about our meetup.
Our meetup June 24th at Hangar 24 in Irvine. And we have a guest speaker.
We do.
And who's that?
Well, we're going to wait till he confirms before we...
Yeah.
Because he said he would do it, and then I sent him the details, and then I never heard anything back. I just want to I got to triple confirm.
Okay.
But if we do have him, we're going to be talking about novations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
All things novations and how you can turn your dead leads into novations and get way bigger spreads.
Yeah. That's good information.
That's cool. Yeah. We've tried it here and there. We haven't cracked the nut just yet because everything you need to know about novations is behind a paywall. But yeah, it's seems like the idea is pretty cool. But
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's always a great time.
We should probably have him on the podcast the week before.
I know. I pitched that.
Did you?
I never heard anything back. So.
Oh my God, this guy's gone dark on you, hasn't he?
So busy. I hope.
Wow.
He was all gung ho, and then I pitched those two things, and then never heard anything. But probably one of those guys, like a week later, like, yo, dude, sorry, I've been super busy.
Did you tell him we paid $100,000 guest fee?
Yeah, I told him.
Yeah,
100 for the meetup, 50 for the pod.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Oh, wait a second. I don't think we told Chad that.
Well, that starts next month.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't start right now. It starts at the end of the month.
Yeah, got it. Sounds good.
But yeah, let's go ahead and jump on into it. Today we have, for his second time on the show, Chad Blau. Chad, how you doing?
Doing good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, how does it feel in the new studio?
It's good. You guys, you really built this thing out.
Yeah.
I know we were on the table over there before.
The round table.
That was a while ago.
I know. 50 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Was it? No, it wasn't 50.
I don't know. We were probably like
45.
Have we done 50 with this set?
No.
Oh, 50 total. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
How many with this set? You don't
I
know.
have no idea.
Okay.
This is
Probably
a
30.
couple months old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we did like 19 of them over there or something like that.
Yeah.
Anywho, let's go ahead. Can you tell everybody how you got into real estate, what you were doing before, why you chose real estate, and kind of your journey?
Yeah. So I got into real estate with Alex. Well, when I started off from the very beginning, I was an agent. That was 2014. That didn't go so well. I went into several other sales jobs for, I don't know, the last 8 years, and then met Alex, and he saw that I was kind of doing a similar type of situation that he was, using the same CRM. It was the same process, my sales process versus what he was doing. And then one thing, went to another, and we ended up partnering up, and here we are.
Heck yeah.
Yes, sir.
And how's it been so far?
Wild ride, baby.
Yeah. The market. How has it changed, do you think, from when we started? When was that? 2022? The end of 2022?
I was trying to think of that the other day. It had to have been, right? It's got to be a little over 2 years now.
I think so.
But a lot's changed.
You guys are young. How can you not remember 2 years ago?
I think it was like July 2022.
Okay.
Because I remember in 2023, we were all like, okay, we're coming out with our systems. We're going to have a sales script and stick to it. And then we freeballed it for another year.
Yeah.
And then 2024 came around. We're like, all right, we're really going to come up with our systems this time. And then we went out to the results-driven 2-day thing,
Okay.
which is kind of cool.
Motivated you?
Yeah, motivated us. And then we kind of joined that mentorship. And then we got a framework for, how to do our whole systems. Maybe you can explain the importance of systems and in a wholesaling capacity.
Yeah, I mean, systems are one of the most important thing, I believe, especially in this business and other sales businesses that I've been in. I was never, somebody who likes scripts. I always just like, doing what I do and having those conversations. And since we've switched to systematizing things and putting scripts in place for every part of the transaction, from getting it from them first being on the phone to them processing them to then getting them an offer and then, closing them, it's got to be the same thing every single time. So by doing that, we're able to track our performance, what's going right, what's going wrong, and then we can make little tweaks there. So, I mean, when I first started, I hated KPIs, I hated numbers, I hated all that stuff. I just wanted to sell, put me on the phone with them, get it done. But it's just sloppy. You can't scale that. You can't put teams in place and just say, hey, figure it out. Give them a call and get a deal. So very important.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of like working with the end game of hey, we may not want to be the ones banging out the phones on the front lines the whole time. So if you come, looking at the big picture of it, we can eventually slide some people in there.
But don't you think that was an important process that you learned from the ground up?
Oh, yeah.
Before you took it to the next level?
Oh, of course. Because how are you going to teach somebody, I think, unless you're in there and exactly.
Yeah.
Someone comes crying oh, this person started yelling at me. You're like, yeah, that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
That's a regular Tuesday.
You don't have people yell at you, do you?
Oh yeah. You get the F-bomb, you get it all. So you got to have thick skin. Yeah.
You don't take it personal.
No, you can't.
You're on the phone. They can't hurt you.
No, you give it to them back. If they're going off on you, and especially if they agreed to a call with you and then they get disrespectful and start cussing at you, then, I'm not. You don't give it right back to you.
You don't go down to their level, do you? You don't cuss them back or anything like
Sometimes.
that. Oh,
I have.
Chad,
It depends
we need
on-
to talk after this podcast.
Hey man, if you agree to have a call, they baited me into the call. So basically, in that scenario, I know what you're referring to. This guy, we had our cold callers and texters doing a text campaign. And then one of the people responded, yeah, give me a call. And they said, yeah, give me a call several times. Got on the phone with him. And then he just started going off. So he baited me into the call just so he can do that and thought it was fun and wasn't expecting me to come back with everything I came back with.
Yeah.
So it was fun. I mean, you can't get people get discouraged because of those things. You just got to turn it into something fun.
What's the weirdest call that you've had?
The one we
That one or the one with the
know if I should talk
guy
about
in Desert Hot Springs or wherever it was, where he was gonna go out to Death Valley, and there was some conspiracy. There was a conspiracy guy, and then he's like, "Well, I'm not on title."
Oh yeah.
Remember that one? He said he was a demon slayer.
Yeah. So I don't remember all the details because it got weird. But this guy, he tells me, he really wants to sell. He's okay with selling it at a discounted price. He just wanted to leave, blah, 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 blah. I pull up the property. I see there's another person on title. So I say, okay, well, what's going on we'll call him Robert. I said, what's going on with Robert? Is he on board with you, to get this thing sold? He's like, I don't know where he is. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, he just disappeared a year ago. And I was like, okay, so that doesn't make sense. I mean, so he just disappeared have you guys tried to find him? Have you called them? He just gave me like smoke screen answers to that. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, is this guy like dead somewhere? And then he's talking about how he like recently got out of jail and like all these other like crazy things going on. He's like, I just want to, pack up, buy an RV and then go out to Death Valley. And there's like some people out there that I don't know what they do. What do they do, Alex?
I forget, some conspiracy. I think like Middle Earth or one of the conspiracies.
Yeah, it was wild, and he just kept going on and on. And so he wanted to sell it without that person signing off, and he thought he could. And I was like, we got to find this guy. Did you kill him and bury him in the backyard? I mean, I don't know.
Okay, just let us know.
Was the owner's name Hoffa?
Probably. He changed his name. I don't know. Yeah.
I saw somebody post in one of the groups that they saw a guy. It's like one of those Netflix where they do like a murder show. Oh. And so some guy, I think, like unalived his mom and then tried to sell the property to a cash buyer. And then they saw like they're like, oh, we had that contract. They saw it like in the Netflix. Like I remember like getting that under contract. So
I remember you mentioning that.
Pretty popular sort of move. But they don't think about title and the chain of title and everything.
Yeah. Were you telling me, I think maybe it was you, I'm not positive, but about the guy who wanted you to put a bunch of money in a suitcase and leave it at the park for him?
No, I don't think that was me. No.
Yeah. I'm happy to sell the property. You put $1 million in a suitcase, take it to the park, throw it in a trash can. I'll pick it up and sign the papers later.
Yeah.
That sounds like you're.
Yeah.
That's on the low scale
story.
of the people we deal with, I swear. You got to be a chameleon, because you don't know who you're going to get. You're going to get somebody who's twacked out on drugs, while on the phone with you, or you're going to get somebody who just had a loved one die, like we're dealing with right now, and you got to be very empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and where's all that come from? Like the different, moods that you have to portray and empathy and, what's happened in your life that you're able to do all this stuff. You're chameleon. Yeah. That's what you said, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where's that come from?
I think it's repetition of doing so many sales calls and presentations and dealing with so many different people. Because you can't have the same type of personality for everybody. A lot of sales trainers, they say, have a lot of enthusiasm. No, like if I'm calling a lead, I don't know what the situation is. And it's somebody who their husband just died and they're going to foreclose on their house. Hi, this is Chad. How we doing today? She's crying on the phone. She, you need to like bring your voice down a little bit, come to her level and see how she's doing. Like, are you doing okay? Like there's a lot going on right now. And then a lot of times they break up into tears. They just need someone to talk to.
Yeah. Now, that's a great lead into this question. How long have you been on the phone with somebody talking?
Maybe like 2 hours.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Because
that
Alex,
was a late night one.
I hear Alex.
I was so pissed.
On the phone at night, talking to some World War II veteran or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, what does that have to do with buying the house and, building rapport? I'm building rapport.
Well, sometimes people will you won't even say a word and they'll just go from one thing to the next. And you can't even, and eventually you got to be like, hey, and try and
they'll keep
cut it
talking
off.
too. Yeah.
They don't even hear you. They don't even hear you. Wow. Yeah. Chad's been getting a lot of crying ones recently. Some lady said he should be a life coach because she's just dumped her whole life onto him. So,
well, I know that both of you, there's a flip that we're doing right now, and I know both of you went out there and helped this old lady move out.
Yeah,
I mean, literally rented a truck.
Yeah,
literally hired some guys to pack up her whole house, and all three of you, including producer, were out there which is like above and beyond. And I applaud you for doing that.
Yeah.
But is that something that you do on a regular basis? Because I need the lawn in my front of my yard cut like every week. If
We
you want
decided to hire
come out
out.
and do that.
Yeah. No, we like to say that we can provide value beyond price, because a lot of times, I mean, especially with her, the price didn't even matter. And, she pretty much got a little bit in her pocket at the end of the day, but she's like, I need help moving. The kids aren't answering. No one's helping her. She has like 9 kids. No one's offering to help.
Wow.
She got grandchildren. No one's offering to help. And so we're like, we'll help you. And so we wanted to make sure that it was done right too, instead of just kind of hiring it out, because we are relatively close, but I would think that's not scalable. We can't be at everyone's house.
Yeah.
So we did it, and it was fun, and got to know her, and Lauren still talks to her.
Did you have fun?
Oh yeah, it was a great time.
Did he at least buy you lunch?
No,
I don't think so.
no, we were
No?
gonna go to lunch.
We were going to go to lunch. It was opposite.
Yeah, and he went that
it was
way.
a long day. I was up at like 4:30.
He took the Audi through.
I was just like,
What's the canyon?
what?
Ortega.
Yeah, took a drive through Ortega.
Oh, I
got
see.
home.
Yeah,
it was just a long day.
Because you
and-
live down south, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Got it.
I'm gonna be taking that drive to Hemet soon.
that's right. It's a fun one.
Through Ortega. Yuck.
Put on full self driving.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah, there you go.
Nothing bad ever happens.
Yeah.
Full self driving. So let's get into, I guess, some of the sales side, because you said you brought in, and they call it sales, but we're actually buying, which is kind of weird, but the same psychology is there. What are some tips that you can give some people, as far as you mentioned one, like meeting them at their emotional level? How about when you're getting to the close, and you get all the way through, you spent all this time with these people, and we see it all the time, they have to sell, and then all of a sudden it's like you get to the end and the price is way out there, and they're like, or you give them a price, maybe that works, and they're like, okay, I got to talk about it, or, what would you suggest people do when it comes to the very end, when you're trying to get that signature? Because that's when really most people kind of double take, and they kind of back away.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, are you referring to if we're close on price, like we can make the deal happen?
Yeah, let's say we can make the deal, and you got to go in for the actual them signing it.
Well, a lot of times what I've noticed over the years is when you get to that point, your emotions start to take control, and you get really excited. Stay calm. The whole way you've been through the call, keep that composure, because the second you show excitement, it shows, it kind of lowers your status a little bit, right? So start off with that, and then set expectations with them. So say, hey, okay, like that sounds great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have my people, they're going to write up the agreement. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to call you back, and that call is going to take X amount of minutes, and we're going to go over that agreement together. And then if you got any questions, it typically takes 5 minutes, and then after we get the agreement signed, and then go through the rest of what's going to happen after that. And then that way you set it up to, I always book an appointment for that. I'm like, okay, give me 15, 20 minutes. And I book the appointment, call them back, email them the document, and then we go over it together. And like 9 times out of 10, when you have them on the phone with the agreement up, you pick a few parts in the agreement to review, like, hey, does the name look right? Does the address look right? There's your price, blah, 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 blah. And you say, hey, you see the little, highlighted box? You can just click on that and make your own signature or do it yourself. And then they'll just start naturally doing it.
Let's go over some objections. Chad, I need to talk to my husband.
So with that one, and this happens a lot, it's talking with the spouse. That's a problem that should have been taken care of on the front end. So when you first got on the call with them to take them through the process and see what their situation is and everything, we should already have the husband there on the call. So to avoid that objection, we already overcame it, but it happens to me still all the time. It happened to me yesterday. I just assumed, and that's the other thing, like, you just don't assume. She tells me he's really sick, so I'm assuming, I paint this picture in my head, oh, he's laying in a bed in the hospital. This is up to her to get it done, so, that's going to be difficult to have them both on the phone. But I give him the offer. She says, okay, let me have my husband look at it, and then it's a no.
Yeah.
So I screwed up. I still screw up all the time.
Chad, I just want to think about it for a day.
Yeah, I can totally understand that, Joe. When you say think about it, I mean, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I just don't want to pull the trigger right away. I want a day to think about it. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, I totally understand. And we typically give our offers out with a 24-hour time frame, so you can have plenty of time to think about it. And I just want to be clear. I mean, we've had a great conversation, Joe, but typically when people say they want to think about it, that's just a nice way of them telling me no. Is that what's going on?
No.
Gotcha.
No. Yeah. Yeah. Good comeback. That's good. That's what I want to hear, and that's what our listeners want to hear too. Is you know how to get over these objections.
Yeah, and it's hard to train yourself too, because I still slip up and don't hit them with those too when they come by. And then when I get off the call, I'm like, oh God, I forgot to do this.
Yeah.
You know?
But you don't know any of this until you actually get on the phone and start talking to people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have people, coming up to me all the time. Joe, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to be a wholesaler. I'll get on the phone and start talking to people. How else are you going to learn?
Yeah. There's really no other way.
I mean, you can call a virtual assistant and train them how to do this stuff, but at the end of the day, it doesn't help you very much, if you can't close somebody.
Yeah, and it's like I've seen people do that where they'll go like a year with the virtual assistant and they're just like, I don't know what's wrong. And it's like because you haven't done it yourself, and you can't train them, or you don't have somebody else training them, so you don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, your virtual assistant probably is not going to close the deal for you. That's what you're there for.
Yeah, it's pretty
they're
rare.
There to warm up the lead and then hand it over to you so that you can close it.
Yeah.
They're not coming from India to see the property.
No.
Although
I mean,
everybody's coming from everywhere nowadays, but that's a different subject.
That's true.
That's a different subject.
Well, and that's part of it too, because it's crazy to think that we can help people sell their property from, across the country without ever going to the property.
That's because you guys do virtual wholesaling.
Yeah, we do virtual wholesaling.
Yeah.
But even around here, it's like we'll lock it up before we even step foot in it usually.
Well, yeah, that's because you want to make sure you have a deal.
Right.
Then you go out there and actually look at the property.
Yeah.
And then hopefully renegotiate the deal again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But just the thought of him building enough rapport to where someone's signing a document that says they're going to sell their property to somebody they've never met in person, it's pretty nuts.
Chad, I want to sign with you today. And I want to let you know that there's nothing wrong with anything on title. How many times have you done that? And how many times have you pulled a title report and found issues?
Not that many.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe a handful.
What you're saying is most of the people you're talking to are pretty honest?
To a certain extent. Yeah. I mean,
why are we doing all the dishonest people then? I mean, the latest one that we have is like, it was in a trust that he inherited from his mother,
right,
who passed away.
Yeah.
And they had half of the trust, not the whole trust, that they had to send a title. Now we're having to dig up that. They want the death certificate.
Oh, yeah.
Do you just give us the difficult ones? And
no, well, I mean, that kind of stuff, like death certificates, that's stuff I already know. Like we find this stuff out when we're having our conversations.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
that's what I'm saying. Are they forthright and give you all that information up front, or do you need to find out, after you've signed the contract and then you pull title and then, hey, there's a mechanic's lien. What happened? You didn't tell me about that.
I feel like I could count it on one hand where like how many times that's happened, and all the other times we know like what we're getting into.
Yeah, we usually get it.
He's not giving us the good deals. He's keeping the good deals.
Or
He's
it's like
keeping the good deals.
they just don't know. They have no idea what's going on. They'll be like, yeah, maybe something. I don't know. I think I remember. And then then you get the title report and it's like,
Yeah, you're another
And then you
easy
gotta-
guy. You believe everything everybody tells you.
Oh yeah. It's like that.
I have to check with the producer to make sure that's factual.
yeah. I'll usually take people at face value and just think that they're being dumb.
It's a good trait though. We need that because I'm the complete opposite, and then Alex is the guy who will trust people. So like, it works.
Oh, okay. The marriage works.
Yeah,
Nice.
100%.
Yeah, because he'll be like, should we do it? I'm like, yeah, I trust him.
No, that's what he says. That's exactly what he
I think we're
says.
fine.
That's
I
like
think
I
we're
might
fine.
have to go to the producer, your wife, and say, "Hey, what do you think about this deal?" Oh, let me check, Joe.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not a good deal.
Pretty sure.
I'll let you know. Yeah.
Pretty sure we can make it happen.
Well, yeah, that's what you say about all the deals.
Yeah, just do it.
70% of the time, I'm right all the time.
Yeah.
So,
He's not.
that's fun. So,
So what's the future look like for you?
Very bright.
Yes.
That's the plan. We want to scale this out, get it operating on our own. Bring a lot more flipping into the mix and rentals. Maybe multifamily. We're just taking it one day at a time, but yeah, as far as we can take it.
Over the last year, compared to obviously the whole year, what have you done this year to increase your business? What tools have you done? What systems? Did you hire anybody in particular? Did you do pay-per-click stuff? What have you done?
I think this year was a big learning year for us. Shifting, we took a lot of big hits. We tried out basically everything that we could, and we realized what worked and what didn't work. So, and that's just something you got to do. I think that's where, like me, I'm like, no, like I don't trust that. Alex is like, let's do it.
Yeah.
I started,
Yeah.
but it worked out
We're
because
back to
I was
that
like,
again, aren't we?
if we didn't figure out that X, Y, and Z didn't work, and
Okay.
then move to pivot to the things that we now know work, like
And
we would have
what's
never
working?
found out. Not as much as what used to work. So a lot of text blasting, not a thing anymore.
Okay.
Cold calling with VAs, waste of money.
Really?
Yeah. Inbound PPL is working pretty decent. PPC, we're not really. We've been staying away from it just because we haven't been hearing good results from it. So mainly PPL, JV deals, and then mailers.
Mailers.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mailers are supposedly big right now.
we haven't tried it yet.
PPL was that paper lead?
Pay per lead, yeah.
Okay. And so where are these companies that you're paying getting their leads?
So they have websites set up. It's like similar to like PPC, but they have their website set up, and then the people will go in, fill out their information to get, a bid on their house or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then it depends on how they have their structure set up. Some of these companies have it on a bidding system. So let's say you're buying a lead in Orange County, whoever has the highest bid, which is like crazy right now in Orange County, it's like $600 or $700 a lead. All the leads that are coming in that region through that website will then go to like you. So
I can dominate that region if I'm willing to pay for it.
yeah, you got to outbid.
Yeah,
So-
but these are leads that aren't guaranteed to do anything. These are just people going on there and saying whatever.
Yeah.
They could be totally false, correct?
100%. And that's a big thing that people who start PPL that don't understand.
Yeah.
Because we realize that real fast. A majority of them are trash.
Yeah.
They're absolutely trash. But you have to have the funds to be dumping into it for 6 months to see, the cycle of getting your money back.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's just the name of the game. If you can't dump, and that's the other thing. A lot of people are like, oh, get into wholesale, do PPL. If you only have $1,000 or $2,000 to spend on leads, don't buy PPL. You might get lucky, but you're going to be really sad most of the time.
Yeah.
With what happens. So.
Yeah. Well, and because and they'll all tell you it's like usually 1 out of 12 will be a contract, and they're selling you on their service. It's more like 1 out of 25.
Wow.
And it's not, if you pay for 25, you automatically get 1. You may have to pay for 50 or 75 to get 3. And then your KPI is like, well, 1 out of 25 is actually what we get.
Mm-hmm.
So at $300, which is cheap, it's more like 500 times 75. That adds up.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah, real quick. And you're getting people that are just like, well, it's the same thing. I just want to see what my house is worth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to talk to my agent. My agent is on the way, but if you can give me the same price without me having to pay my agent, then I'll take that.
Yeah.
So, but those aren't dead leads. We always refer those to producer for listings.
Nice.
Yeah, she hasn't got one yet, but because some people are they're just tire kickers.
You got to triple tap them.
Yeah.
Triple tap and double tap and follow up. Yeah. Yeah, maybe you could talk about the follow-up game. There was one guy, I think the other day, he had called like 113 times.
You had called him?
He did. Chad did.
Yeah.
Within like 4 days or something, though. It was like something insane. But then he got back to him like that night and was like, hey. And we were like, oh, okay, none of these calls are going through. There's no way. None of the texts are going through. And then they'll just text you randomly back. So we're like, so you're ignoring that many calls? That's got to be scary.
Wow.
Yeah. But maybe you could touch on the follow-up game and how important that is.
Yeah. It's very important. The ones that you're speaking about within the last couple days, and it happens every once in a while. You just got to keep calling them. I think I went through our dialer on one of the leads that I finally got a hold of and got an offer out to, and then it was Ramesh, right? And now we're trying to beat out the other guy. Mm-hmm. But just in the triple line dialer alone, I called him, I think it was 113 times through that. And then on our single line, what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll triple, quadruple tap everybody multiple times a day. So I'll call you 5 times in a row. Every single day. So there was probably 200 calls to him until he finally...
You don't have my number, right?
Oh, I got you.
You got my number?
It's got everyone's number.
But yeah.
You will answer eventually.
And doing that isn't comfortable. Doing that's not comfortable for like... I remember when I started doing it, it feels really weird. You're like... You're kind of nervous, like I feel like I'm annoying them. They never get mad. Like I always thought they're going to answer the phone and start yelling and cussing at me. I don't remember the last time somebody like answered and they always answer on like the 3rd or 4th call. And I've never had a time that I can remember when they answered pissed off. The answers was like normal.
Yeah.
Like I called them once.
Yeah. I think they have a fear of missing out. That's why they wait so long, and then they go, God, I've got to talk to this guy.
I know.
I've got to.
I called a lady 5 times one time, and she was in the middle of a meeting. And I was like, sorry. She's like, what? I'm in the middle of a meeting. I could just imagine her like stepping out of the boardroom. Like, I was like, so you still looking to sell the house on 123 Main Street? She's like, I'll call you later. But you kind of have to. The PPLs as well. What's sort of the protocol that you have with that? The second it comes in, and what's the importance of that?
Yeah. You call it the second it gets in. So you triple tap immediately. So the way our CRM is set up is the second a lead comes in, it automatically gives them a text message. So I'll wait for that text message to go through. I'm just like looking at it, ready to go. So right when it delivers, I'm like, bang, start calling them. If they don't answer, hang up, call it again. If they don't answer, hang up, call it again. And I'll do it for the fourth time. And it's kind of a mixed thing with certain people. I like leaving voicemails. A lot of people don't. So they say, don't do that in sales. I do it, whatever. So I'll leave one on the fourth call if they don't answer. And then I'll start our AI bot campaign to just blow them up in text messages right after that. So they'll probably get like 5 or 6 texts along with all my calls that first day.
Yeah. But
what do you say when you leave a message? What do you say?
I just say, hey, John, this is Chad. Looks like you just filled out your information on our website about 123 Main Street, requesting an offer. Just wanted to gather a couple details about that and get that offer out to you. Give me a call.
Perfect. That sounds good.
That's what they wanted. They filled it out on the thing requesting that.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
But,
It's unbelievable too. The ones that you get that are like, no, I love it when they're like, I never filled anything out. Oh, so this isn't your address? Oh, and this isn't your email, right? And then at times I'd say, okay, well, what I got to do is it sounds like somebody's stealing your identity. And our company is required to report this to the cybercrimes unit. just to mess with them. Because what I want them to do is to actually tell me the truth.
Yeah.
So like, oh yeah, actually I did. And I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah, no, don't call the FBI.
I don't even know if the cyber crimes unit's a thing, but
Yeah.
we have fun.
It's so good. Oh my gosh. That's fun. You got to have fun. And that's the part. Some days will be a roller coaster. You'll have a deal and then it falls through. Then you get a deal and then it goes through. And then you got to wait 30 days to get paid.
Didn't you guys call like a welfare check?
Oh no, we said we were going to. Yeah, we had a guy. He signed it. So I did the wrong thing. I broke the cardinal rule and like it was I got him down a little bit of negotiating, but he was pretty easy. And then I sent it over like right away. I was just like rushing the whole thing. I was on the phone with him, got him to sign it. And then he started ghosting me after he signed it. And so I was like, oh no. So I couldn't get a hold of him, And Chad's like, you know what you got to do? They always respond to this. Say you're going to send a welfare check out there. And I'll be like, I haven't heard from you. I'm getting really scared. So we're just going to have someone go by. So I'm going to do a welfare check. He was like, yeah, he's like, no, I'm fine. I changed my mind. So I don't know. It's pretty funny.
So if you get ghosted,
do you hold their feet to the fire when they change their mind? What do you do? I mean, you have a valid contract at that point. What do you do?
No. I filed a memorandum, but then meaning we had like an interest in the property.
Okay.
And then when he went and sold, he sold to somebody else on market.
Okay.
And so I think Title and Escrow called me and they're like, well, we need to talk to your attorney because he's saying that he had no idea what he was signing. He's elderly. I think he was like 55, like living in a 55 plus community. I was like, he's not elderly. He's good, but I didn't want to deal with it. So I was like, I'll release it.
See, you're the nice guy. You should have talked to Chad.
I know we did. Well, we debated it. I was like, I don't want to deal with any lawyers right now because this was like when we were dealing with lawyers, and I don't want to do it. She's like nothing to do with the lawyer, so I don't know. I haven't gone down that. It'll probably be like a little more grizzled. We're like, yeah, talk to my attorney. It's gonna be $50,000 to release it. I don't care how old he is.
They would have paid you. I'm telling you, they would have paid you.
Probably, but she said, and I think this is true, in certain counties, it's valid. Certain counties, it's not. And if it goes before a judge and you weren't actually going to like purchase the property.
If she's calling you, it's valid in that county.
Probably.
She wouldn't be calling you if they could have written around it.
I know, but I think that what they do is like your lawyer has to present that you were going to actually buy it. You know, like you had the means to buy. I don't know. I don't know how the process works, but I just didn't
Was
wanna
this
deal
out
with
of
it.
state?
Yeah, it's in Florida. It was in a county.
What
in
was it
Nebraska.
worth? 10,000?
No, I think we were gonna make like 30 plus.
No. What was the property worth?
Oh no, it was worth I don't know, like 250 or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
We could have come up with the money.
Well, yeah, we could have come up with them. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I just didn't want to.
saying to call him next time.
Yeah, no, I know, but we were just like, you know what? No, like, and that the lawyer. As soon as she said lawyer, which is what she was planning on doing, you know, she wanted to scare me.
Okay.
You know,
Obviously did.
yeah, I know. But then it was like 55 plus. I was like, no, just let him. He's gonna make more, so just let him.
Got it.
What would
Yeah.
you have done, Joe?
Oh, I would have sued him. I have.
Nice.
And I have, and I've won.
I've heard.
Yeah.
like
I mean, the attorney here, $500 an hour, but that was the best $500 an hour that I've ever spent.
Yeah, but you made
ended
a
up-
lot more.
I
on
ended up
that.
making a lot of money on that deal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if
So-
the juice is worth the squeeze on that one, I don't know if it was.
Yeah.
You know, but you live and you learn. A lot of learning
Oh yeah. Never ends.
never ends. So that's part of it. But since we have learned a lot, we've all three of us started, you know, a group to teach newer people that say, hey, I want to get into wholesaling. Where do I start? Where do I go? You know, there's a bunch of stuff online, but I think there's so much that people get overwhelmed. So we started the wholesalingsstartupclub.com, which is a free community, completely free community.
Free.
I think there's like 50 people in there right now.
Free.
So go to wholesalingsstartupclub.com, join, and start introducing yourself to the people, because basically what we want is like everybody working together to JV. We've had members of the group bring us like some good deals that we're helping with them through the probate process. There's one in Vegas that's going to be pretty gnarly. So we're helping Renee with that one, and then a member in there, Chris, he's doing a lot of on-market stuff, but he's finding some really cool properties and then putting in offers, and then hopefully we're gonna do like some sort of dispo together. But jump in there, yeah. And then Neil was I think he was in there when we first started. He's still cold calling, and then he came across one of the lists we gave him. He called this lady in Moreno Valley, and it's just one of those things, and it's why you need to be consistent about it. She just said, "Oh, you called me at the perfect time. I'm actually like ready to sell right now.
Nice.
I have too much repairs to do.
Yeah.
I know it's going to cost me a lot. I can't sell it on market. All the things you want." So
Nice.
yeah. So we worked out an offer together, and then she said, "I think that sounds fair, but I got to talk to my."
Uh-oh.
So
Chad, come on in here.
There I come, guys.
I got to talk to my husband. So maybe that's something we could go over with them, is like working out, getting all the objections. That's why we do that now. We put all the objections in the process.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that they can really, even though they do come up with stuff at the end, you've tried to get it all out beforehand,
Yeah.
so you can overcome it.
No.
Yeah. But a couple of things are, one is the influencers. That's what we call influencers. So anybody, an agent friend, a cousin, the grandma, whoever they got to run it by if they're going to sell, the husband, wife, make sure they're involved, make sure they already know, and you triple check. And then one is called just like the discomfort phase. So like, okay, let's say we got to move forward. What do you have to do next, if anything? So they're not like, oh, well, I didn't want to do it because I have like all this stuff in storage. I didn't know like how I was going to get that out in the house. You know, anything like that. They'll think of that and be like, I didn't know what I was going to do, so I'm not ready to sell.
Broken down cars.
Broken down cars. But you can say, look, no, as long as we know that, we can help you. We can bring a friggin' car lift, like whatever you call it, a tow truck.
I ain't buying up my car lift.
We can get movers. We can, you know, you come up with all that stuff. And they're like, oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, resolve their issues.
Yeah, resolve their issues. But you get them all out ahead of the time,
Yeah, got it.
rather than at the end.
Yeah.
So
Boom.
that's pretty cool.
Do we have some videos?
We do.
All right, we're going to check out some videos right now and get Chad's commentary.
Oh.
Let us know what you think.
You trying to trigger me?
Yeah.
A seller tells you they need to think about it. Okay, so again, this is typically how it works. You sent them a postcard that says, hey, I want to buy your house. They went to the mailbox. They picked up the postcard. Then they called you. Then they schedule an in-person appointment for you to come to their house. They need to sell. They want to sell. They have to sell. But at the end of the day, they tell you, yeah, I just really need to think about it. I'm telling you right now, they've already thought about it. They are going to sell their house, just not to you. And if you leave that appointment with them thinking about it, as soon as you leave, they're calling the next guy and they're selling the house to somebody other than you.
Uh-oh. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes towards just overcoming the objection. Think about it.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, he's talking about in-person appointments.
Yeah.
So I think at that point, like, what would you do? Let's say you're in front of them.
I mean, it's the same thing, like I totally understand you need to think about it. I first try and see what it is they need to think about. Is there anything that I could answer for you right now? Any thought, like, is there anything specific that you're thinking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you ever put like pressure on them and say that, here's the offer I have for you. It's $300,000 in your pocket. We can do this as quick as 3 days, or if you want, it takes time, that's fine. I don't want to leave here without you knowing that this is what we can do. And, is that the objection? Is that the problem? Or are you waiting, for somebody else to come in right after I leave and try to get 305?
I don't like say that to them. No, like, no.
Well,
you're not
it's
into
being more-
pressuring them?
No, you can apply pressure without being salesy. Because the second you're salesy and applying that pressure is the second they put their walls up and they don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
You're not the only person who wants to buy their house.
Do you ever ask, like, is there somebody coming in behind me here?
I'll already know that before we even get to the I think about it.
Okay.
Because they'll mention something typically along the way that'll trigger, like, that they've been talking with other people, and then I'll bring it up right there. I'll be like, oh, so you've been talking with other investors. How's that experience been so far?
Okay.
And then they'll tell me, and then I'll have that ammo for once we get to the close.
Yeah.
When I know there's people behind me who can potentially steal my deal, I'll say, hey, Mary, I know you're okay with this offer. I know everything looks great. I just want to make sure, because in my experience in the past, I've had this happen. What are you going to do about the other people who you're talking with? And then see what they say, and just be like, okay, I'm just saying that because I don't want John or Billy Bo to come in after he finds out that you sold it to me and then just making things up, says he's going to give you a higher offer. I put all my people to work. We're doing the thing. We're about to close. And then you come in and tell me something I don't want to hear.
Yeah.
So, and then like get them to commit to not answering any of their calls and to, maybe coach them on what to say.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, and one other thing to add to that is, like, we do what's called go for no. So if you hear I want to think about it, we'll make them basically, like what he said before, like, well, sounds like it's just a polite way of you saying no. And it makes them say, if they're going to say no, they're going to tell you no. And it's like, if it's not a yes, it's a no. And you want them to be like, no, it's not a no, but I got a X, Y, and Z. Then he can pull out more objections that way. So go for no.
Oh, yeah.
All right, next video.
Yes, please.
If you're wholesaling real estate and you call a seller and they tell you they want $100,000 for their property, and you say, sure, I'll give you $100,000 for your property, slow down. Don't offer them the same amount of money, even if it's a deal, the same day. Wait, take your time, because this is a massive purchase and a massive sale for the sellers. Take it slow, even if the price right off the beginning works. Do not offer the people what they're asking for, even if the deal works on the first phone call. If you're wholesaling real estate,
I agree with that. obviously, if he makes it seem kind of weird, if I call you or we get on the phone, and you're like, I want to, it's $100,000. I'm not just going to immediately get into price. I'm going to be like, okay. And then I'm going to go through my process, asking all the other questions.
Do you ask them like, where did you come up with that price?
Sometimes if it's an outlandish price, I'll ask them that. I'll be like, where'd you come up with that? Is that something that sold recently, or is that something you made up?
Okay. So trying to justify that in their mind as to why they came up with that price. Like my neighbor sold the same house, yesterday, and that's what they got.
Exactly. Yeah. And then sometimes when there's prices that are just crazy, I'll ask them that question. I'll be like, oh, so is that just an emotional price? Because half these people, their prices are based off of their emotional attachment to the property, and that's not how this works. So
Sentimental price.
Sentimental price too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
The only one thing I would say is this guy's waiting a day to give the offer. He's like, even if it works, wait a day.
Oh, he said a day?
Yeah.
he said a day.
So then Chad, if you're doing that, Chad's calling that day and
4 or
locking
5
it
times.
up.
Yeah. and that's a great question. So when you have them on the phone, you don't want to let them go until you've got a deal.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, he's right about if they want $100,000, don't give them $100,000 because then they're going to feel like they left money on the table.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get off the call to have my partners review and underwrite the deal before I give them an offer. Once I get back on the phone for the offer, I know I could do it at 100,000. I'll probably be at like 96 and change. And then once I'm about to give the offer, I'll be like, hey man, I feel like I really let you down. But they qualified the property for 96,000.
I'll take it.
Yeah. And then you got to shut up
I'll take it.
after you drop the price.
Yeah.
I'll take it. And please don't come over and look at what I have inside. Okay.
My roof is caving in.
Yeah. Don't
didn't
come
mention
over and look
that.
at that house. Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll also stick to the 100,000, and then you got to play the game, right? So you're like, okay, like let me see what I can do for you. You can do the 100,000. So you go back, get off the phone, then call them back or put them on hold or whatever.
You're like, I'm gonna put my own money in. I'm gonna put my 4,000 in. We're gonna make it 100,000. Let's do this.
They're really gonna hate me for this. I'm probably gonna get fired.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
You're fired.
You're fired. Jared, you're fired. Yeah, we should have that. Someone in the background.
Do you have another one?
You people love your Crocs. You guys are insane. I made that reel about Crocs and it went crazy. I mean, you guys came out with facts as to why Crocs are the best shoes. They're not shoes, what they're made of, how it supports your back and your arches and your heels and your shoulders and all kinds of just random crazy shit. Here's my question. If you guys can learn that much about Crocs, the ugliest, worst shoe of all time, why can't you figure out how to make money wholesaling? You people love it.
I love RJ, dude. He's the best.
Did you see that coming?
No.
He's like, what are we talking about Crocs for?
Yeah.
Yeah. RJ's like he's so good. Like you'll see him on the phone. He has his own style where he'll literally ask for price the first thing. He's like, hey, I saw you filled out some information on my website. What do you want for that? And then he'll basically just go from there and then go into motivation and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Where some other people try to go through motivation first. But yeah, that's his style and it works for him. It's pretty straightforward.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Alex said, his style is he doesn't like the style that we use. He disagrees with it from what I've seen. He's great at closing. His style works great for him, and I think that's awesome. I think on a scalable level, it might be difficult using that strategy. I don't know. I haven't tried to scale with that type of system, but the one we use is what works for us. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder because he's always like on the phone still. So it's like I think he is training some people under him, but it's like you can't like replicate that sort of
I love his energy.
WWF freaking just
It's so awesome.
get right to it.
He's
That's good.
I like it.
Yeah, it works. Next, we got one more from the producer.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, like when RJ's talking about, I'm going to hit him at 70 and close at 90, like I close him at 55. So if you want to close $5,000 below their number, then use his philosophy. If you want to buy stuff and make $75,000 on a $50,000 house, which isn't even really possible if you do the math, then use my approach, right? He's saying, I'm going to start at 70 so I can land at 75. Like, that's not negotiating. That's just playing. I mean, I think at the end of the day...
Ooh, shots fired.
Called him out.
Now what?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with it. I'll typically buy, I don't know about, maybe actually, yeah. I typically try and buy like an extra 20, 25 plus grand from where I know we can be at. So and every situation is different.
So let's talk about after repair value. How much less than the after repair value are you offering? You feel comfortable with? I mean, it sounds like this guy, if it's 100% after repair value, he's starting at 40 or 50.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel comfortable starting at?
Well, we don't go based off of like percentages, like because a lot of people underwrite differently. So, for instance, if the ARV is, and these are just random numbers I'm making up, ARV is 400, we have to be at 310, right? Mm-hmm. That's where I know we can still sell the deal and make 10. Mm-hmm. I'm going to start I'm going to buy a cushion of like 20 to 30 grand more.
Okay.
So that to give us like 40. And then at that point, if they're just like, absolutely not, blah, blah, okay, well, between my number and your number, where do we need to be at to make this work? And then we could start working our way in and then closing the gap.
Got it.
Yeah, and what we've started doing is we have a repair estimator that we use. And so we'll get a pretty detailed outlook on how the house is looking. I mean, assuming they're telling us the truth, put everything in there, and then it spits out a number. And so we kind of use that for repairs. And then add the profit in, and then add our fee in. Mm-hmm. So you got to get used to making them low offers.
Yes. And you don't have any problems doing that.
Mm-mm. No, because it is just a numbers thing. It honestly is. It's like you can't, otherwise it doesn't make sense for anybody.
Yeah.
And we've tried it the other way where we're like, well, maybe if somebody has their own crew and they can hire their nephew and not pay him anything, then you can, but it's like, it's never going to be like that.
No.
We'll never get the deal. No.
Yeah.
No.
So.
And we'll disqualify those ones too. Like, we just won't give offers. If I know somebody's way too high, like they want market value, the property needs work, I'll tell them straight up, hey, we're not going to be a good fit.
Yeah.
So your best luck is probably to just
honest.
list it.
Yeah, that's honest. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Anybody chime in?
Yeah, we got a lot to catch up on.
Okay, nice. You want to use this?
Sure. Well, no, it's fine.
She's just going to read it.
Well, it's going to go on the screen.
Oh, it's going to go on the screen. Okay, perfect. We'll repeat it too.
Okay, we got Boston in the chat. He says, hey, Alex.
Nice. Hey, what's up, Boston?
We got Stephanie. She says, sign me up to talk to the ones that cry.
Oh, true. Then we'll have two crying people. Stephanie says, sign me up to talk to the ones that cry.
No way.
You can
that
have
would
them.
be,
No, I don't think that
know.
would be good for her. I don't. I don't think
Then they're
that,
both crying.
No, that's not going to work,
Yeah.
Steph. Sorry.
Someone's got to be strong when the other person's crying.
Exactly.
So it's
yes.
like, I don't know.
That's not going to work. It's not going to work.
All right, we got quite a few from Madeline from different points of the podcast.
Oh, okay, nice.
So, starting with, hi, today I had someone be rude via SMS. Then he asked for my help, and I helped him. He apologized for being a dick. I told him I'm in the business of helping people.
Okay. Yeah. So that can
for you.
happen. Yeah. So
Good
she
for
said
you.
she got an SMS.
Yeah,
I
see,
guess they're
don't go
reading it.
down to their level is what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Don't go down to that level. Just try to stay high,
Yeah.
you know, because
If you let it roll
know.
off your back, they're like, okay.
they'll change their mind.
So they try to use it. It's like a little dog that barks at you.
Yeah.
They're trying to scare you off, and if you're not scared,
And, you know, we always have Tony Soprano in our back pocket if we need it.
That's right, baby.
You know, so yeah, not a problem.
yeah.
Also from Madeline, just talked to a PPL today and he didn't remember he filled out a form to sell an hour before.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Yeah, he's
Call them
like-
out. Cybercrimes unit.
Yeah, cybercrimes unit, the one we've been using recently, where we'll just be like,
Maybe
you-
you should put like, how old are you on the form?
yeah, I know.
You know?
Trust me, they got to have a little bit more filters, but I think they're just trying to sell the lead. So,
Got it.
but yeah, we'll be like, oh, so you're just playing around on the internet again?
Oh, yeah. I love using
Yeah.
that one. Hey, would you stop playing around on the internet and
My
filling out forms?
grandkids just taught me this the other day. I think it's kind of neat.
Yeah. Some people will admit they're like, I filled out 10 of these
Yeah.
like in the last hour, and then
Oh
just
my
letting the phone calls just come in.
Yeah. I needed somebody to talk to for an hour.
She also says, I just spent the first $500 on PPL for 2 leads and I'm so disappointed.
Oh yeah, that's
That's what
just
we
the
touched on.
beginning. That's just the beginning.
Yeah, and that's the thing that is unfortunate because most people aren't telling you this. Up front, the PPL companies aren't going to tell you. You gotta 500. Just you might get lucky, but you got to have the budget. That's just the way it is.
And yeah, I don't know that I even trust them to send me, leads that have not been already, called on and stuff. How do you vet that?
There's days where we're like, they're screwing us. They're sending us the same ones. But we'll straight up ask them. Sometimes we'll ask them like, hey, so what did the website look like when you filled it out? Try to get some intel. But I don't know.
We've bought the same lead from 2 different companies, 2 different PPL companies. We're like, oh,
Doug Anderson.
This guy. And
Dr. Valley.
we bought him on one platform and then the other. So we spent twice the money on one guy who never answered the
Still
phone.
hasn't answered. And it's been, I think we looked it up. It's been for sale by owner.
For 1,000 days.
Yeah, for 1,000 days. And he's filling it out. So even if you got him an offer, he wouldn't take it.
No.
It's just people are crazy. He's literally insane.
All right.
But have hope.
Madeline also asks, do you use an auto dialer and how much higher are you willing to go on an offer?
I don't think
Chad?
we really go much higher.
Yeah,
We stick to our numbers.
Do you use an auto dialer?
we use a 3-line dialer. Yeah,
Okay.
it works very well.
Which company?
Wave.
Wave.
Yeah, it's the if she uses. Do you know what CRM she uses?
She uses Open Dispo.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so-
Then the Wave dialer.
Yeah, Wave dialer, triple line dialer.
And then coming up on price, not much. If we can make the deal happen, yeah. But I think we've come to know that if it's not going to at least make like 10, it's not worth the time and headache. So yes, we've made a lot less assignments before by negotiating on price, like 5,000 or whatever. But I guess that's to your discretion. If you could still sell the deal and you're guaranteed you can do that, and you want to make that extra $1,000 or $2,000 in assignment, then by all means, yeah, come up.
Yeah. We've just done it to where it's like we've outbid somebody else and then you can't move it. And then you have to go back to the seller and they're like, well, we're already starting to like move stuff around over here. Now you're canceling on me. And that's just not a good feeling. So it's not worth going too much higher. You'll have, and I know why she wants to do that is because you're paying so much for these leads, but you just have to know that like one will come through that makes up for all the rest.
Oh, she might up the bid on the leads.
No, I don't
Wait.
think so. No, she on the offer.
Oh, okay.
So like if somebody's like high, with they're like, well, I want this much, and you're like, it's just like kind of too high to even make sense. Unless you're gonna buy it yourself and it makes sense, you're most likely not gonna wholesale it. You know?
just take it away from them. Be like, hey,
Yeah.
you're not going to sell to an investor.
Yeah.
The numbers are what the numbers are, and we all typically lie within the same range.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys could touch on this would be good for some people listening with the PPL and even cold calling and texting. I mean, you guys are working with one seller that you've been talking to for 2 years now.
Yes.
Finally about to close.
Right.
PPL, all the deals we've gotten under PPL, just from the time that the PPL lands in our CRM, going to the closing table at escrow, it takes anywhere from like 2 to 3 months.
Yeah. So she's talking about what's called cash conversion cycle, meaning the second it comes in, the second you spend your money, how long does it take for you to recoup that money and also make a profit? So, I mean, some people will say it could be 30, 60 days, but we're seeing on our end, it's like more like 60, 90 plus. And then she mentioned there's one guy that we followed up with for 2 years, and then now he's finally ready to sell. I think we walked it last year, and then he's like, no, I'm not ready. And then he's finally texted, like, can you call me? Like 2 days ago.
It's amazing he still has your number.
Yeah. I think they just keep it. Like,
Yeah.
if you build that rapport, they really will remember to call you.
And
It's crazy.
That's exactly what he said too when I was on the phone with him, because Alex was the initial person to talk to him. He's like, I saved your guys' number because I love the way you guys do business. He's like, you're upfront, you're honest. He was like, it was just easy to deal with you. So I knew the time was gonna come, and it's now. So I'm giving you a call.
I think we got in a screaming match when I first called him.
He's that guy too,
Yeah.
though. Like, he'll flip the
He is?
switch.
Yeah.
Really?
We got in a screaming match, and then he finally calmed down, and then I
Yeah.
calmed down. And we became friends.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you always play the good cop?
No. And sometimes
Because
if people come out.
I always play the bad cop with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I
You know? It's like,
yeah, if you're going to be the bad cop, I can't be bad cop
Alex,
too.
Alex, Joe, I don't like Joe. I want to take you out for dinner after we're done with this deal.
Yeah.
Did he ever take you out for dinner, by the way?
He took me to lunch, yes.
He did?
Board and Brew, yeah.
No.
And he said he wanted to start wholesaling.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huntington Beach guy.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. He's
So
like,
he did not like me at all.
oh, no.
No.
He didn't like you.
No. Joe,
Yeah.
I don't like Joe.
No.
I want to deal with Alex.
Yeah. He's
Okay. Deal with Alex.
like, yeah. He's like, I see what you're doing. Like, I feel like I'd be really good at it. So, like,
Yeah.
what is it? I'm like, it's wholesaling. He's like, okay. When I get back from Mexico, I was like, oh,
Surfer
God.
from
Yeah.
Huntington.
Yeah.
Nice. Just never came back from Mexico. He's still
Yeah.
surfing.
He's probably still there.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope
he's enjoying his life. He
Yeah.
got a lot of money
Yeah.
out of that deal. So
Yeah.
I hope he's enjoying his
I hope
life.
he's living his best life.
You know. But I don't expect a phone call. From him.
No. Oh, maybe like 4 years from now. He's got like a long beard, and he's like, I told
many?
you I'd find you. 4 years?
Oh, I thought you said 40 because
No.
it won't be around in 40
No,
years.
4.
4?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 4.
Yeah, he might run out of money and come knocking again. But yeah. Anything else? Okay. Wow. That was fun.
Yeah.
A little hangout sesh. Hope you guys learned some stuff. Again, if you want to learn more about honing in on skills, wholesalingstartupclub.com. We're going to have a Q&A this Sunday, and we'll be going over people's deals. You can bring in pretty much anything you're working on. And then, like I said, we're building it out to where everybody can start JVing. Now, JVing, joint venturing, is like really powerful in itself because there's so many moving parts in a real estate transaction that when you're just focusing on one thing, whether that be like calling the sellers, okay, you get a contract. Now you got to go and find the buyer. That's a whole nother gig. So if you're going to find the buyer, then your acquisition side is hurting if you're a one-man show. So what you can do instead, team up with somebody who's already, dispoing or has a buyer's list, team up, move the deal, work on to the next one. What a lot of people, and I see a lot of people do this, is like their first deal is so precious to them because they've worked so hard. Maybe it's taken you 6 to 9 months. And so you want, the whole pie. But if you just keep honing your skills, there's going to be so many more deals that JVing it can become a superpower in your business if you do it with people who are already doing it.
Oh yeah.
So
Bring us some deals.
yeah, so bring us deals. We'll help you with it. We can close. We can underwrite with you. We can find the buyers. Today, I found, if you guys don't know where Trona is, Trona, California.
No,
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's out
Look it up.
way in the desert. But I've had 2 deals that I tried to sell there before. But in doing that, I found one guy that like pretty much buys up the whole town. And so I saw somebody
Mr.
post
Trona?
Mr. Trona, yeah, and he I saw somebody post in like a Facebook group like, I need help selling this like really bad, like I don't know what I'm doing. And so I reached out and I was like, hey, I got a buyer for you. And so we linked up and now we're all going to make money.
Nice.
So that's how it is.
Nice.
That's all you got to do.
Let's make some money.
Let's make some money together, y'all. So next week we won't be here.
Really?
It's the producer's birthday.
It's your birthday?
Joe wants you in on your birthday.
So we
I
can.
didn't know you had a June birthday.
Yeah.
June what?
6.
Oh, you're like my daughter's on the 2nd.
There you
She's on
go.
the 2nd.
Both Gemini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now do you celebrate a birthday, a birth week, or a birth month?
It's usually about like my birthday always lands in the middle of the week, so it'll be like birthday through the weekend, and then maybe through the first half of that week. I always try to extend it.
Sounds like a lot.
I don't get the full month. I don't get the full month.
Yeah.
I try to extend it.
No one needs a full month.
Okay.
I got 1 day. I'm over it.
Yeah, exactly.
I got one day too. and
Like,
I don't
don't
really
remind me.
want anymore. But, they come. Yeah. Okay. Well,
So
I'll be sad and lonely.
yeah. Well, we can maybe like film it the day before, then premiere it on a Thursday is what I was thinking, but we'll figure it out.
That's up to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
No
figure it
pressure. No
out. But anywho, we'll be back very
Thank
soon.
you for
Thank you,
coming.
Chad, for coming
Yeah.
in.
Thanks for having me,
Absolutely.
guys.
Thanks.
This was fun.
Good times, and we'll see you guys soon.
If you want some more advice on real estate investing, reach out to us one-on-one.